all of us are a multitude of different people, but people only usually see one person. So I know that depending on who you are and how old you are, you perceive me in different ways. And there are lots of people who think, for example, that I'm very garrulous. And I know when people come to my house, they think they can open the door and I'm going to be there wearing a gaudy jumper with a teddy bear under one arm, gabbing away non-stop, wearing a party hat and blowing something out. And then when they find that I'm there, taciturn, moody, silent, they think, oh dear, what's happened? But the truth is, like everybody, I'm different people at different times. So in Edinburgh, it would be nice for me because there can be different sides of myself on display. Lewis Carroll was this complicated, fascinating man who was both an extraordinary writer, he was an academic, he was a mathematician, he was a clergyman, he was a teacher. He had a range of enthusiasms from sort of toy theatres and magic to musical boxes to being somebody fascinated by Euclid and algebra. He was a famous photographer, perhaps the second most recognized photographer of the Victorian era. So I wanted to write about him and this girl that he knew, Alice Little, who was the daughter of the Dean of Christ Church. And that was intriguing me. And we began to dig a little bit deeper. Anyway, we came across a book called Lewis Carroll by the Real Alice in Wonderland, which turned out to be an account of Lewis Carroll's life by a young actress called Isa Bowman. And she was an actress who had played Alice in Wonderland on stage. And we suddenly thought, this is something we didn't know about before. And so having begun to think we were going to write a musical version of Alice in Wonderland, what we ended up writing was the story of the relationship between Lewis Carroll and Isa Bowman. If you've never put on a play, you won't know about this, but if you have put on a play, you will understand this. During the course of the play, everyone falls in love with everybody else. That's the way it goes. That is the nature of the beast. And it's a complete love affair, and then on the last day you all kiss and you promise always to meet and to be constantly in touch and never see the people again. That is the way it works. I always love the story of the young actor playing his first hand. Michael will know this story. It's an old story, but some of your younger viewers may not. The story of the young actor playing Hamlet for the first time, who goes up to the older member of the company, who's now playing Polonius, and because he's struggling with getting to grips with the part, and he says to him, struggling particularly about the relationship between Hamlet and Ophelia, and he says to the old actor, "Tell me, I'm really struggling with the relationship between Hamlet and Ophelia. What do you think? I mean, does Hamlet actually sleep with Ophelia?" And the old actor replies, "I don't know about the West End laddie, but always did on tour." This is my third visit to Edinburgh as a performer. The first time I came here was a show called Zip, where we did 100 musicals in 100 minutes. We did the complete works of Andrew Lloyd Webber in 90 seconds. Sometimes it took 60, so we padded it up with a bit of Puccini. And then the next time we came back, we did a musical version of Twelfth Night. And I essayed my Malvolio and my Sea Captain, who was a small company. And each time the company's got a bit smaller. So this time we decided to, cut out the rest of the company and just have me. So the one-to-one show is essentially me for an hour in the Pleasance Courtyard every afternoon at 4:30. And it's called the one-to-one show because it's really stories, I hope funny stories, about interesting people that I've met one-to-one. So there's quite a lot about the theatre, language, words. I love language. Language is power. It's what defines us, what differentiates us from the animals, No matter, as the philosopher said, no matter how eloquently a dog may bark, he cannot tell you that his parents were poor but honest. Language does that. So I hope it's a celebration of words and language, but it's also quite a lot about politics, because I was an MP. I ought to explain, I was a Conservative member of Parliament. I was a loyal Conservative. I read instinctively I was loyal. When John Major became the leader of my party, instinctively overnight I began to go grey. And when William Hague became the leader a few years later, I found I was going to go bald. So I was only grateful that Anne Widdecombe did not succeed in her ambitions. The coalition, now it's with us, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm finding I'm going a bit gay myself. It's always a bit latent. Touch the Tommy two ways. I watched the launch of the coalition on television with the sound turned down. And I have to say, the sound happened to be turned down. And that little ceremony in the Rose Garden at 10 Downing Street, it looked to me like the most delightful civil partnership ceremony. It was a gay wedding. Those two handsome young men in their slightly better than M&S suits, standing there with that sort of mirroring body language, the ties not quite matching but coordinated. It was very attractive. I saw the great actor Sir John Gilbert being booed at the first performance of a play called The Ides of March, and I was very lucky to know Sir John Gilbert. On his 90th birthday, he came and had lunch with me and my wife at the House of Commons, and we said to him, "Oh, Sir John, we're so honoured you should come and have lunch with us on your 90th birthday." He said, "Well, my dears, I'm delighted to see all my real friends are dead." And he was a very amusing and delightful man. And when I first came to Edinburgh, and we did Zip, at the end of the performance, there was sort of noise out there, sort of the banging of seats, and I saw people standing up. And I thought, oh God, they're leaving, it's been a disaster. In fact, they were standing up to cheer, which if you've been a politician is a very unusual experience. So I find that if people stay through the show, I'm gratified. You know, I have been a member of Parliament, I have been a politician, I'm used to any kind of audience. When they get up and walk away, I can cope. It's when they get up and start walking towards me, I get a little bit nervous. My ideal day, actually, is a leisurely breakfast, cappuccino, croissant, tootle down to the Assembly Rooms, quality theatre, Mike Maloney, Laura Spencer Longhurst, in Wonderland, amazing show that's stimulating, makes you laugh, makes you cry, all in the space of 90 minutes, intelligent, entertaining, and then boodle along to the Pleasance Courtyard and have an hour of funny old stories from Gyles, and then cocktails somewhere.